welcome to the My Status Quo podcast. I'm Michelle High.
And I'm co-host Donna Felter.
And today we are speaking with Bill O'Brien. He is a Master Family Service Specialist with the state of Delaware, and he is going to educate us on the tech fraud and imposter scams that plague our senior community. Welcome to the podcast, Bill.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, I am basically a fraud investigator. We investigate elder abuse, fraud, neglect, and financial exploitation. And we cover, my region is the Sussex County area.
Okay, great. How did you get into that field?
I have a mother who is elderly, demented, and it's one of those things of you never want to see anyone be scammed, defrauded, especially taken advantage of one of our vulnerable adults. So it's kind of a passion. Hate to see it happen.
Yeah, sure. And how do you want to start today? Going into the fraud that is current and imposter scams. I know we we hear about it a lot from families we work with.
Yeah, Delaware right now, because of the elder population moving here from other states, retiring, the scammers do know it. So we are actually top 5 per capita for scams. So the amount of scams for Delaware is off the charts right now. So people need to learn about this beforehand. It's easier to prevent than it is to correct.
You mean top 5 of states in this country?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Top 5 in the country. That's huge.
Yeah. So we want to kind of go through some of the business imposter scams and tech scams. They're kind of very similar. They follow the same patterns. So what they'll do is they'll reach out to you, whether it's a phone call, text message, email, or even on social media. They'll reach out to you and they'll basically say there's an issue, whether you have an issue on your computer, phone, a bill that needs to be paid. Could be Norton, could be Geek Squad, Apple Pay. But they'll reach out and they'll tell you you have a $600 bill that's about to be paid, that's going to be charged. Microsoft or McAfee is going to be charged. Call this number. Never call the number they provide to you. It's what they call a phishing scam. They send out all these messages, hundreds of thousands, and all they're waiting for is somebody to respond. If you call that number, they've got you on their hook, and they're going to tell you that there is a payment that's due. And the ultimate goal is to get you in front of your computer. So to get a refund. If anybody asks you to go to your computer for a refund, do not do it. What they're trying to do is get you to download AnyDesk, TeamViewer, or UltraViewer, the remote access softwares. They're not malicious softwares. Antivirus is not going to flag you and say they're on your computer. They're similar to Excel, Word. It is a program that the scammers know how to use in a nefarious way. What they want you to do is go to your computer, download one of these programs, and what it does, it gives them remote access into your computer. That is their goal. Once they're in the computer, they have basically successfully done a device takeover. So they have access to your computer. It's essentially they're looking over your shoulder and seeing what you're doing. So one of the first things they're going to have you do is go to your bank account. And with your bank account, what they have now just done by you accessing your bank account is they have now seen what your password and your login is. So that is why they want you to do that. Once they have that access, they can see what's in your computer or on your bank account. So if you've got money in the account, they know how much they're going to go for. So what they'll tell you to do is to complete this refund. Here's our refund form. Go ahead and type it in. What they're going to do is they're going to tell you, oh my God, you typed in the wrong number. So instead of a $150 refund, now you've typed in 15,000 and I'm going to get fired. I'm going to lose my job. They become very despondent. And what they want you to do at that point is now wire them money, cash app them money, or Bitcoin them money to make up for it. All they've done is they've moved money around from your account into, say, from your savings to your checkings. to make it look like, oh my God, I just got $15,000 from them. So they expect you to run out and do this. It is all a sham. It is a scripted line that they will tell everyone. And then they're going to stay on the phone with you and they're going to have you drive to the bank and they're doing their research to say it's going to take you 5 minutes to get here because they're looking on Google's maps and stuff. They're going to walk you through how to take out the money. They're going to tell you, oh, tell them you're renovating your kitchen, you're helping a nephew buy a car. They've basically going off a script. And then what they're going to have you do is either Bitcoin the money or wire the money to them for a refund. And once you figure out that no money has actually come into your account, they've already got your money and they've got your funds.
So the best thing to do, I'm assuming, based on what you're telling us, is to automatically delete those emails or texts that we get right away and don't even open them?
Yes, ignore them. And here's a warning. I like to keep my emails clean, so I would scroll down to the bottom and hit unsubscribe. The problem is the scammers know that. And where do you think they put that link now for the virus? Under unsubscribe. You click on it, and because I've got Wi-Fi 6 and there's now Wi-Fi 7, which act as firewalls, I went to delete or unsubscribe, and it set off the warning saying that was the intrusion. So delete or mark as spam. Do not hit the now if it's a subscription that you've had to Shave Club or Perfume of the Month that you've had for a while and you want to stop, that's different. But if it's one that came through that you didn't solicit, you've never dealt with, delete or mark as spam.
Oh, that's interesting. I'd not heard that before, that was an issue.
Yeah, I found that out, and
Clicking
thank
on the
God I had
wrong.
the Wi-Fi to block it.
Oh, so if is just clicking on block this better than
Yep.
hitting, well, obviously on not hitting the one that says unsubscribe is not the way to go.
Well,
So
your
if you click on block,
emails,
that's
yeah,
different?
emails delete or spam. Your text messages hit block
Okay.
because, and a lot of times what they'll do is they'll reach out to you by text, and I get them all the time of, hey, we're making dinner tonight. Are you coming?
Oh, yes, I get
It,
those.
it's nobody I know. There's no number, so there's no link to somebody in my address book. It's
Right.
out of state. What they're doing, and the whole purpose of this non-threatening email is they want you to respond. If you respond by saying, I think you got the wrong number, go pound sand, what you have done is you have told them this is a valid phone number and they will start calling. So block,
Just block.
delete.
Okay.
Do not engage those.
Okay. Do not hit undescribe. Okay.
So, Bill, you walked through a scenario where somebody would literally be walking into their bank. How do you get involved? I mean, do you get phone calls to intervene? What does that look like for you?
We get electronic referrals. There's state and federal law that says if anybody out there, a profession, has suspicions or suspects a crime, then they're to file a report. So if somebody goes to a bank and they're on the phone, tellers have seen it enough and they get that little suspicious feeling that if you're on the phone going up to they're going to ask you if you know the person you're speaking to. If you've never spoken to this person before, you've never been familiar with this person, a lot of times the bank teller is going to take the phone and start asking questions because this is a prime example of how they do this. They'll also do the same thing for Bitcoin machines. And one of our financial detectives for the Sussex County, his best statement was there's two people who used Bitcoin machines, perpetrators and victims. And they will walk you through the process because honestly, how many people have used a Bitcoin ATM machine? They'll walk you through on the phone. I want you to type in this, and they'll tell you it's a safety locker. Someone's trying to steal your money, so I'm going to have you put it in here. It's going to be for safekeeping. It's going to their wallet.
Wow.
I'm actually pushing some legislators to enact some legislation to put warnings on these Bitcoin ATM machines, just like you'll see with gift cards. Most of the gift card displays now have warnings that say if some business or entity is asking you for gift cards and you don't know them, it's most likely a scam. Bitcoin is the new technological version of gift cards. So if you're not actively buying, selling Bitcoins, stay away from the Bitcoin machines.
It's good to know. What other kind of fraud is happening right now that we want to alert people to?
To stay on the lines of the imposter text scam, a lot of your local banks, larger branches, will call you to say, hey, we've discovered these multiple transactions that we want to ask you about. So they will do this. The scammers now are using imposter tactics, and they actually have the technology that when your phone rings, the caller ID will say bank fraud, whatever company you use, and they will ask you, oh, we found these three suspicious transactions, usually $600, $800, $1,200. Did you make these? At this point, thank them, hang up, call back, go to the branch that you know, the tellers that you're familiar with, go to the number on the back of your card, go to the number on your statement. Do not engage. What they will do is, and they're very slick about this, is once you are now scared, logic takes a back seat because they have instilled fear in you that somebody has racked up probably close to $2,000 worth of debt. What they're going to do is they're going to say, we need to verify, and they're going to have you start flipping your card back and forth. Well, we need the last 8 digits. Most banks, when they do their debit cards, the first 4 digits are specific to a branch. So they don't need that. What they're looking for is the last digits. They're looking for the 3-digit code on the back, the expiration date. And once you give them that, they're going to run a few transactions through, usually small, to see if it does work. And then they're going to hit you hard and basically try to clean out your account within a couple hours. So go back to what you know. Don't trust anyone. If you get these calls and the technology says it will be bank A fraud, go back to what you know. Don't engage.
Okay. Wow. Have you had to intervene like in a bank? Have you ever been on site like that?
Yes, I've had, and it was part of the gold bar scam where with the text scam, it pops up on your computer. What happens is they'll hit you if you go to a website and uh, this particular person tried to look up the Maryland lottery, and what they'll do is they will get websites with common misspelling. So you go to Maryland lottery, they'll have it close. So you basically fall into their trap, and you'll get hit with hundreds of pop-up ads, and that's all they are is pop-ups, but it'll tell you it's a virus. Do not shut your computer down. Call this number down at the bottom corner. Never call the numbers they provide you. Go back to what you know. And what they do is at that point is they did the imposter scam of the number you called was supposedly Microsoft. It's not. It's a scammer. Usually these occur in India. They will then have you download remote access software. And then lo and behold, we have found criminal activity on your computer, uh, money laundering, possibly internet child porn, which no credible person will ever want to hear their name associated with child porn, let alone international child porn. So fear now takes over. Logic is in the back seat taking a nap. So they use psychology to overrun you with fear. They do the same thing with romance scams. They'll overrun you with emotions, and then they found the stuff. They're going to transfer you to FBI. Well, FBI, it wasn't FBI. It was just a scammer sitting next to them. And what they do is then they start trying to. We're going to help you protect your money. We know it's not you, so they tried to have people go buy gold bars. And with gold bars, they're either going to have someone drop by, pick them up. There was a big bust in Montgomery County, Maryland, just recently for the gold bar scam, where they'll send people to your home to pick up the gold bar to take it to the Federal Reserve for safekeeping, when actually
I can't
it's
believe that. That's amazing. They really did that?
yes. I've had people lost 113,000. I've had a person lost 1.5 million. This one particular lady, they had her on the hook for 250,000,
Oh my
and I was
God.
able to find her at the bank. They instructed her because they tried twice with her current bank and told her you have to go close your account, go to another bank. I happened to be driving around looking for this woman, found her at the branch, and we stopped her from losing $250,000.
That's amazing.
And to tell you how brazen these scammers are, because we blocked her phone from them, but voicemails can still go through. They were concerned they were going to send a unit by. They actually called the Delaware State Police and had a welfare check done on her husband just to make sure she was still alive and kicking so they could go ahead with the scam. That's how brazen they are to use local law enforcement to check on people.
Oh my gosh.
I'd not heard that before. That's insane. I can't imagine the audacity of these people.
I tell you, I was celebrating that we stopped her from losing 250, and it was going to be 250 to start. They would have kept going and probably cleaned her out. But the email that they used was the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission, dash FBI, completely legit, at gmail.com. You got to look for those little details. Just like with your emails, when they come through, if you see spelling mistakes, capitalization, little extra, I'm not sure what they call them, but you'll see little squigglies like an Italian or whatnot.
Oh, right.
Or if you hover over their address or hit reply, just hit the reply button, it will populate the field that says where it's going. And then you can look at it and say, well, FTC/FBI at Gmail. No government agency ever uses at Gmail. That is a big flag that people don't notice.
Oh, wow. Ay, ay, ay.
Well, with everything you just mentioned, what safety measures are needed for everyone to try and protect ourselves?
Well, first and foremost,
just mentioned.
first and foremost, you want to stop and think before you act. And the first question that comes to mind is, did I receive an unexpected call, text, or email? If you put in for some local charity cruise and you know it's drawing today and you get a call, you know you paid for it, you put in for it, you're kind of expected. But if you get a call out of the nowhere that says, oh, you've won something, I've even got a call in the past that says, congratulations, you've won the Powerball. And I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. I've always wanted to hear that, but now that I heard it, I know it's crap. So if you didn't expect this, all these transactions, your PayPal account, if you don't have a PayPal account, don't answer back. That's all they're looking for is you to respond. Is somebody asking me for money, personal info, or passwords? Banks, your institutions will never ask you what your passwords are. Never give out your login or your password. Your bank's not going to ask that. So do not give that to anyone. And are they pressuring me to act right now? Meaning they've called you, they said the sheriff's department's coming to arrest you. You've got multiple warrants for missing your jury duty. We're going to arrest you in a couple hours. Everything is urgent because they know the psychology. If they can overrun you with fear, emotion, logic will take a back seat. I had a gentleman that he got the call or got the email that he was going to be charged for something, so he responded back. They had him download the computer to get their refund. Oh my God, you put in the wrong amount. And in the meantime, we found crime. We found this. His wife walked in from out back. She's not part of it. She was not involved in it. So her logic is still present. She walks in and says, hang up the phone. That's a scam. She didn't get overrun with fear. They know psychology. These are professional scammers. This is all they do every day. But some of the best websites to go to learn about scams or report scams, one is the IC3, the letter I, the letter C, number 3.gov. That is the Internet Crime Complaint Center for the FBI. It is a great resource. If you go on there, it has a lot of great information, a lot of stats. They also have a block in the middle that says file a complaint. Our recommendation is anytime you have a scam, first and foremost, call the police, file a police report. Not to say the police are going to be able to run out and do it and investigate it, because most of them are overseas. Most of them are voice over internet, so the voice is not, the call number is not traceable. A lot of these romance scams, they're using profile pics that they've taken off of general sites and the Pentagon sites. And one good thing is if people are reaching out to you via Facebook, do a Google search on their photos. You'll see that it's used in 2, 3, 5, 10. One lady that the FedEx investigator, the picture that they showed, I was able to see about 10 other spots where it was used, where she was the postal worker. She was some Home Depot. She was FedEx. She was multiple roles, different names, but it was all the same picture, especially for romance scams. So the IC3, do a police report, get the complaint number. And like I said, there's not a whole lot the police can do unless it's a local, but file the police complaint. It gets you a complaint number. Go to the ic3.gov, file a complaint, put the complaint number in there because the Fusion software for the FBI, they're looking for patterns. They're looking for likenesses. They're looking for actionable stuff that is happening that they've seen in other parts of the country or locally where they can put it together and have something to act. And that's how, like with Montgomery County, they just busted the gold bar scam. Multiple people, millions and millions of dollars. So you can file a complaint. And one other perk to it is if you did suffer a loss and you put in and they do arrest people and there's any sort of seizure, there's a chance, not saying a big chance, but there's a chance you might get some funds returned. Another good site is the ftc.gov. It's another good site to go in there and get good information on some of these scams and do some reports. So I wish there was some apps out there that you could weed out. There's been some Facebook sites out there that to address scams, and scammers are actually using that to try to jump in and say, hey, I had the same problem. I had this person or this company fix it. Going into a scam forum to scam the people that have been scammed. Per the FBI website, the IC3.gov in 2024, since 25 just ended, we're going off of 24 numbers. 147,000 victims ages 60 plus reported losses of almost $4.9 billion. And the FBI site is a self-report. It's not that a police report was identified or banks reported. This was people actually going onto the site of their own free will to put it in. So
Wow.
the 147 reports, Delaware in 2023 reported 519. That's probably about 7 to 8% of what actually is coming in. And the average loss for victims 60 plus, the average loss, $83,000. More than 7,500 elderly victims lost over $100,000. These scammers do not care if that is your last $20. They don't care if you're going to be evicted. They don't care if you're suffering from advanced dementia. They will clean you out. So please be very mindful that the average is $83,000.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
And unfortunately, with elder males that have been scammed, that have basically lost their life savings, will tend to look towards suicide. The suicide rate is extremely high for elder males who have been scammed. There is a movie out there, Beekeeper's Helper, I believe it is, and Jason, I can't think of his last name. The first part of the movie is very accurate on a call center reaching out to an elderly woman, and how they do it is very real. And she ended up committing suicide because not only she lost all her money, but she was managing a charity fund for about $3 million and lost all that. The shame will result in possible suicide.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Anything else that you wanted to add, Bill, or?
Don't trust anybody. If it sounds too good, it more than likely is a scam. Talk to people. A lot of times, like I said, with the psychology of it, they will overrun you with fear, emotion, where logic is taking a nap. If you talk to your friend and and they have not been overrun with this fear, they're going to look at you and say, "Hey, that's a scam. Don't do it." Trust other people. And the scammers, one of the biggest things they will tell you, you cannot tell anyone. Why? I tell everyone, when we drop off information with all the different scams and the IC3 site, the Federal Trade site, tell everybody, warn everybody. If you have your civic associations, you have your different groups, elderly groups, the cheer centers, Easter Seals, you have your neighborhood watch, share the information, because if more people knew about the remote access software, AnyDesk, UltraViewer, TeamViewer. Do not ever download that to your computer to get a refund because all they're looking to do is have access to your bank accounts. And unfortunately, what people don't realize is when they get in there, when they have access, and they will tell you, oh, well, we got to do some repairs. So just leave your computer on overnight and don't touch it. What they're essentially doing is don't look at what we're doing until we can clean you out. And by the time you realize it, we've logged off and we're gone.
Wow.
AnyDesk has been doing a lot with Scammer Payback. It's a YouTube channel, and Trilogy Media, which is another YouTube channel. They are scam baiters, and they will go after the scammers, and they have the technology and the intelligence to reverse connections. So if you look on YouTube, Scammer Payback, Trilogy Media, it's very entertaining when they engage these scammers because you'll see how much of a script it is. It's kind of like the old Mad Libs, but you'll see how they engage in their methods and what they're asking for. And when they don't get it, they get nasty. But it's educational because, like I said, they follow a script. You'll see them do the same thing over and over. And what the scam baiters do is they have the technology to reverse connection and essentially try to delete their call logs, their information, clientele information, bank account numbers. So they'll go in and try to delete it and also forward it on to local authorities or to federal authorities.
Oh, wow. If you're a family member or a friend that, let's say, you're visiting your aunt or your neighbor and they're talking about, having to go and transfer money or they're on the phone, I think
Mhm.
families really struggle with when to step in. And this with cognitive decline, a lot of times that person is going to be really upset that you're intervening in their financial business.
That is true.
Can that person just call 411, like the non-emergency police, and say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Can you do
Hmm.
something about it?
Yes. And with cognitive decline, especially dementia, when family members, friends start noticing the cognitive decline, their researchers have found they're already about 7 years in on the journey. And the first and foremost warning sign that goes missed by most people is the financials. The part of the brain that controls logic reason is one of the first one that's compromised. So it has nothing to do with intelligence, knowledge. The problem is that part of the brain that says, if I give this person $50,000 of my money, I can't pay my bills. I won't be able to afford more. That part is the first compromised. So you will see a person that is, the home is clean, they're still driving, their neat hygiene is good, and they're falling for scams over and over and over. The part of the brain that is affected is that part that says don't do this. So I've been to numerous homes where the home is clean, everything's good, and then you find out they're on the path to dementia. It hasn't been diagnosed. So what tends to happen is you'll notice you go to mom's house, the electric's off. She's made 3 payments to her mortgage company, but she didn't pay her electric, or the phone is shut off. So I haven't been able to talk to mom. So I drive over because you don't normally get into your mom and dad's finances, but you get to a situation where the trash is piling up because they haven't paid their trash bill. So that is a big warning sign that goes unnoticed. And usually it's around the holidays that is our real busy season because family members have come to visit for the first time in 2 to 3 years. And 2 to 3 years in cognitive decline is an eternity. So if a person was diagnosed 2 years ago, today it's night and day. It's not even comparable.
I agree.
So that's one of the warning signs is your family member having financial problems or repeated scams. So as they get older, it's good to have joint accounts so you can keep an eye on what mom is spending. And my sister's had to do that where 3 car warranties later on a vehicle that she bought used, she's got 3 car warranties, but oh no, I don't engage with those conversations. Yeah, you do because 3 of them are taking money out every month. So it's one of those warning signs that power of attorney, advance directives early on is best. So that way you can step in, act as an agent of your parents, or in case of a stroke, dementia where the capacity has declined, you can actually then legally step up to assist. But it's always good as parents get older, and if they've fallen for a couple scams, you might want to start paying a little more attention to the finances to make sure they're not being ripped off on a regular basis.
Yeah, I've actually seen trouble with kids being on the parents' accounts. It really just depends on the family. You never know. But something I try to suggest is, just have give them a bank card from the bank with a spending limit, so that if that's the bank card that they're making transaction with, it's actually a credit card, and say it has 500 or 1,000 on it, so that the person that's cognitively declined has the dignity of using the bank card, but it's cut off at a certain point.
Right. You basically, and with some situations, you're managing your loss. So if
Right.
you have a person that is perpetually scammed by putting $200 to $300 at a time, if someone gets a hold of that number and cleans it out, we've lost 300. That's it. They haven't been able to bridge to the account. And you did make a good point about with a joint account, family member,
Mm-hmm.
or whoever you do have to understand and you have to be able to trust this person, because if they are on your account, their name's on the account and that's the only participation they've had. They've never put a penny in and they go clean the account out. Legally, there's not much we can do because they were an authorized user. So you have to trust. So that was a good point that you made about who you can trust on there, because there's perks and there are cons.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen seniors put family on. I've seen them put friends on, and I think you're right. You should be able to trust them, but at the end of the day, it's well, Bill. This was a lot of really good information, and we're going to put some of those sources that you cited in the details. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
I think we pretty much covered tech and imposter scams.
Imposter scams, yeah.
Trying to think if there's any. Yeah, I think we covered all that. Then probably the romance scam will be the next topic, because that one there is a very, very effective because they understand psychology.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. The worst part of my job is when I go to a home and say, "I'm sorry about the money you lost," because with a lot of these scams, especially the gift card scam, the Bitcoin scam, ones that they actively participated in their own demise of, they went to the bank, they took the money out, they've then bought gift cards. Bank's not going to cover that. So the gold bar scam, you buy the gold, you put it into the back of a car that drives out of your neighborhood. Bank's not going to cover that.
Mm-hmm.
So when one family lost 1.5 million, that money's gone. They wanted to sue the bank, and the bank's like, why? You came in, you withdrew it, you gave the gold bars away. We had no part in this. There's no culpability on their part.
Good point.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. We really appreciate everything you discussed today. It's very informative. So thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the My Status Quo podcast.